kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome everybody in to Sim Racing Media. Tonight, the drivers of the Western States Racing League take their next gen series debut here on Tuesday night to Road America. I am Mike Demoney up in the booth once again, as always. Joined with me is Mac Nelson. Mac, how is it going, man?
You know, Mike, it's going pretty good. You know, the Western States Racing League, we were off last week, and coming back this week, I knew it was going to be an absolute doozy because we are in virtual Plymouth, man, Wisconsin. We are at Road America here, and I am just so excited to see these cars go around this circuit.
Yeah, definitely. You have 14 corners, if I'm not mistaken. So you're going to see a little bit of everything. Everybody trying to find that passing zone that I don't know that there's really much of one that exists other than a couple of the straightaways. You might be able to make some passes, but these corners are relatively tight, as you see here. A couple drivers almost getting into it there. But I mean, it's good. Track position's probably going to be key here.
Yeah, and you know, you're not wrong at all. What I see here are three major overtaking opportunities. Obviously, you've got down the front straight, you know, turn 14, you know, who can get the best run off that, who can get the best run up the hill onto the actual front straight there. That's going to be really dicey coming into turn 1. Also, the Moraine sweep just a few corners after that at the end of turn 3. That is going to be another corner that is extremely overtake heavy. These guys are going to be racing down that hill, going to be a battle of who is latest on the brakes coming into turn 5 there. And then also, since we are in a high horsepower, kind of low downforce car here in these next gen boats, as I like to call them, coming around the kink there at turn 11 after the carousel into the bottoms, coming up to Canada Corner, the kink and also Canada Corner are going to be extremely technical medium speed corners. And for these low downforce cars, medium speed corners are where you're going to be finding the most time made up or time lost, depending on if you are good or bad at those corners.
Definitely. Glad that you're up here in the booth with me, as you have more of the road course knowledge than I do. But these drivers are definitely looking to put on a show. We have Michael Melfelt Jr., who ran 34 laps, is at the top of the board in practice with a 2:11. Justin Michael, Chad Simpson, Butch Davis, Justin T. Wilkinson, all up there in the 2:13 range. So we should be a pretty good race. We have 25, 26 drivers that are looking to make their mark here on Road America. I mean, last week we were at Iowa, or not last week, the week before we were at Iowa. They ran 160 laps. Jeff Schmeier led the only lap that mattered, taking home the win. Ryan Steele in second, Christian Bishop up in third. But these guys are going to be jumping on the track pretty quick, because you have 10 minutes to qualify, and your out lap is going to take probably 2.5 of that.
Yeah, so outlap's probably going to be, yeah, like you said, 2.5, maybe even like 2:35 range. So being able to get both of your, validated counting laps in is going to be a struggle, especially if you mess up in, like, say, your outlap. Your outlap you have to be extremely important, because if you mess up once or twice and you go back to the pit to kind of restart your run, you are not going to have time to get both of those laps in. So yeah, the outlap is going to be key, just bringing it around there slow, and then, properly pushing on your actual valid laps.
Yeah, JTW making his way through. We'll jump back here to Michael Melfelt Jr., fastest in practice. He definitely took his time learning the track. We'll see if that's going to pay off here in his qualifying run. We also have a couple guys that race mostly on road courses in here. Christian Bishop also up here in the 26 Procraft Toyota. He seems to be one of the guys to watch out for. Last season he pretty much dominated the road courses, but this next gen car might even it out just a little bit here, as we see a few new drivers on the top of the board for practice anyway.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The next gen car, it was made with road courses in mind. Now, granted, it is still an oval car through and through, but they didn't necessarily skimp on what they could add when it comes to road course features. Now, this isn't going to be your GR whatever the heck that ran at Le Mans this year, the Camaro, the next gen Camaro with the rear wing and high downforce trim package and everything. So you're not going to be getting that kind of handling out of it. You're not going to be getting GT3 or hypercar handling for sure. But this thing, it's not going to be an absolute boat. It's going to be more like a jet ski.
Yeah, definitely. And as you were talking about the passing zones, they do have that big hill that is the front stretch there. One place that's the drivers are definitely going to look to pass here, as Bishop's working on his first lap. Let's see who else is out here. Looks like Justin Michael is about a third of the way through his qualifying run. See him go wide there on the corner, trying to set up the straightaway, trying to get as much speed out of that 87 Toyota as he can.
Yeah, now I'm not sure of the rules, but in normal road course racing, the way he just took turn 4 right there at the end of the Moraine Straight, that would actually be a track limit penalty. Now for these NASCARs, I know track limits do tend to be a little bit different on circuits like Circuit of the Americas or, Watkins Glen. So, the track limits might be bent a little bit here. Not entirely sure. We're going to have to see. But if that is the case, then Justin Michael has an incredible line set up there, and that's going to be his corner for the entire race.
Yeah, we'll have to see how forgiving they are when they set up the track limits. Usually when they do set those up, you'll have a time limit penalty, so you'd have to slow down for just a little bit, which would allow other drivers to get around you. But right now, it looks like he is on fire here, leading the way.
Yeah, his Canada corner looked really good, and coming into the Mitchell Bend, I believe is what it's called, setting up the front stretch. That is probably going to be a pretty fast lap if I had to guess. I didn't see any key mistakes there. We'll have to see what the timing decides to give him.
Looks like it did not count that lap. Butch Davis just completed his first lap with a 2:12.61. Matt Schlosser up there with a 2:13.78 on his first lap. Michael Melfelt Jr. definitely put in that work. 2:13.05, good enough for second. Lyle Swearingen, 2:13.48. These guys are definitely running through the field here. Everybody out, and the timing and scoring is putting up times fairly quickly here as everybody crosses the start-finish line about the same time.
Yeah, it seems like these guys were, maybe holding off just a little bit in practice, maybe getting their race pace down, because these guys are straight pushing it in qualifying, and they're posting impressive times.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Justin Michael's time did not count, as he probably took too much of the track there when he was going through.
Yeah, I was afraid of that, because a lot of oval guys, I'm not chalking it up to say Justin Michael is one of these guys, but a lot of oval guys will not really understand what track limits really are when they come to these road courses. They think if there's pavement, they can use it, and that is not always the case. But here in Canada Corner, which Justin Michael is about to take, you guys will notice a small strip of, blacker pavement right there that Justin Michael just happened to get on. That is completely legal. That is within the track limits, so you can take all of that if you want. Same with that curb that he is taking. You can take all of that. And unfortunately, you cannot take that. The sand is not the track. Carlos Sainz would be proud of him, though, as... Butch Davis, is he right? Yes, he is in the 43. I should have known from the scheme. He took turn 14 incredibly well right there, but he's not happy with it. He is going to pull into the pit.
Yeah, he's top of the board right now. Michael Melfelt Jr. climbs the hill. Let's see if he'll climb the board. And he will. 2:12.16. Woo! Provisional pole right now.
Yeah, that is a great time there for Michael Melfelt Jr. And like you said, he is putting in the work.
Chad Simpson up to a 2:13.01 on his second lap. Matt Schlosser 2:13.35. Jeff Schmeier 2:13.39. Andrew Schulte up there with the 2:13.44. Lyle Swearingen 2:13.48. It looks like Ryan Steele completed his second lap. 2:14.28. We have a couple guys still left to go.
Ashley Valdatero crossing the line, going to post a 2:15.36, so around 2 seconds faster than their previous lap. So good on them. Brian Barnes just now going. Yeah, Brian Barnes just now going for his outlap. he is not going to be able to post a time. So I guess he is just getting the repetitions in.
That's going to be very close. It looks like he...
Oh, yes, you're right. He's on a flying lap right now. Yep, I apologize. Yeah, he'll be able to get it in. I thought he was on his out lap. Unfortunately there, though, taking a little too much of that curb.
Dustin Burns is.
Yeah, Dustin Burns is not going to be able to post a lap.
Julian Ricci here. He's able to do. See if he's gonna be able to finish. Looks like he will. Just taking his time though through the corners, not taking any chances. He'll post a time, but we'll see how fast it is.
He is. He's just cruising around the track right now, and hey,
he'll get
25
he'll
laps.
get a time.
Yeah, he's not necessarily in a bad spot for wanting to cruise, as he posted 2:23.61, because there's going to be a lot of carnage here in the first 4 corners.
So what you said was true. Brian Barnes did not get to post a time. He was 0.07% of the way from the finish line.
That's tough.
Let these guys jump into their cars. Get a decent look here. We got Michael Melfelt Jr. on the pole. Butch Davis just to his outside. Jeff Schmeier in row 2 with Chad Simpson. Matt Schlosser and Andrew Schulte make up row 3. Row 4 is Lyle Swearingen and Justin T. Wilkinson. Row 5, Evan Kinney and Chad Stearns. Ryan Steele and Wayne Hutchinson round out row 6.
Yeah, and P13, Bob Beltrami, and to his left side is going to be Christian Bishop. P15, Ashley Valdatero with Charlie Widener in the same row as them. P17, Dan Brazington. P18, Julian Ricci. P19, Bentley Glazer. P20, Brian Barnes. Row 11 is going to be Justin Michael and Barry Phil. P23 is going to be Dennis Fuson and Dustin Burns in P24. Row 13 is going to be Carl Burke and Paul Hoffman with P27 William Fletcher.
Yeah, so we'll see if those last few guys that didn't take qualifying laps are going to jump in their cars. It looks like they pretty much all are. It looks like Chad Stearns has yet to get in. Should be getting there momentarily, but it looks like Dan Brazington is going to jump to the pits. Carl Burke not in his car. Paul Hoffman, William Fletcher as well.
And so here we go. Pace car is off. And if you guys are looking at this and it feels weird, row 1 is, or the leader is actually going to be on the right side because it is a road course and the first corner is a right turn. So it is going to be the leader on the right side instead of your left side like you see with oval racing.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a long way to go as they make their way around this over 3-mile track. You can see the track layout there on the screen. This is round number 9, so first road course of the season. See what that brings us today.
Yep, you know, road courses are always fun with the WSRL because you get a little hint of, you know, rustiness and inexperience, but you also get a hint of the opposite, experience and sharpness. you know, the likes of Lyle Swearingen, Christian Bishop, you know, Michael Milfeld Jr. posting pole. These guys are all talented on road courses. So, you know, for these guys, it's just another day. You know, for, I would say, probably 50 to 60% of this grid, this is something new for them. This is something they don't do very often. But for those guys that I just named, it's just another day at the office. They feel at home here. Sure, they're not in, you know, the most, you know, best handling car or highest downforce car. But I mean, hey, at the end of the day, road course is a road course, and you drive it pretty similarly no matter what car you're in. And, you know, there are corners that are different. And, you know, with these cars, you're braking 100 to 200 meters before you would in, let's say, you know, an LMP2 car. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And these guys are going to feel at home.
Yeah, definitely. They were last here back in August of 2022. Christian Bishop got the pole and led all the laps, but that was in the truck. So we'll see what happens once we get going here. These guys have improved with the drivers that are here. They've had several road courses to work their way through, and as I said, the next gen car is a little bit easier to get around on road courses than the truck. So we'll see if that plays to fruition here. Christian Bishop is starting back in 12th position. We'll see how fast he tries to make his way through.
What a day. Or I guess night, actually. It's pretty much night everywhere, but what a night it's going to be here. It might be day virtually here in Plymouth, Wisconsin, but for most of us, it's nighttime right now, and what a night it's going to be in the WSRL here at Road America.
Definitely they're coming down the track here, getting ever closer to that start-finish line. Pace car is going to pull in down pit lane. Michael Milfeld Jr. will lead the drivers to the green flag. Everybody's getting stacked back up here. Up the hill they go. We'll see him come over this hill, and we will be under the green flag here. Green flag in the air. Melfelt down on the inside. He's going to get first run at this corner as Butch Davis is in front of him. But they close in the corner. We'll see if everybody's able to get through as we kind of go back through the field. Looks like everybody's kind of stacked up. The 400 of Matt Schlosser off to the inside with Lyle Swearingen kind of checking him up. But everybody pretty much stayed pretty clean there.
Oh, no, we've got, I think that's Jeff Schmeier.
Not just Schmeier around.
Yeah, spun around in turn 3 there. We're coming down the Moraine straight here. It's going to be an absolute cluster heading into turn 4 here. As locks up, big lockups from a couple of drivers.
Lyle Swearingen checks up. Looks like Julian Ricci also checks up pretty bad. They're still kind of side by side. Looks like a couple of drivers are smoking their tires there, but Butch Davis was able to get by Michael Melfeld Jr. Melfeld gets a little loose there, gathers it back in, but they started to single file out, and we'll see what happens here. Looks like Evan Kinney's looking to the inside of JTW. Matt Schlosser back into 7th position after rebounding, after getting ran over just a little bit here.
Yeah, and it seems really weird looking at that 400 car of Matt Schlosser as he's into the grass just a little bit right here before the kink. Driving a Camaro, but rocking a Ferrari livery. It's the world of iRacing, ladies and gentlemen. These things can happen and will happen on a nightly basis. But coming down to Canada for the first time, everybody slows up. They're going to push it out of the corner there, using all the track that they can. These drivers, you know, they were side by side for a little bit, but I think they realized that I think it's going to be extremely and exponentially more safe if we just go single file here. So Everybody sort of started to fall in line.
Yeah, we definitely have plenty of laps to get through this. I mean, 25 doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, you're dealing with basically a 3-mile track as Michael Melfelt Jr. goes to the inside of Butch Davis. They're still battling for the lead. Melfelt's still there on the inside. Tight quarters here.
Yeah, Melfelt with a little bit of slide coming out of that corner. That's going to cost him a decent chunk of time heading down the Moraine Straight here. But he does have the draft, so it's not going to hurt him entirely too bad. Let's see if he can get out of the dirty air going into the corner. He's not going to. He's going to fall in line. No lockups on their behalf, using all of the track that they can. Well done by those front three. Andrew Schulte is now on the hunt.
Andrew Schulte didn't waste any time, up 3 spots already. Another guy. I mean, it won't surprise you when I say his name, but Justin Michael wasn't able to get his qualifying lap validated as he used too much of the track, but he is up 12 spots, currently running P9.
Yeah, you know, doing it very well coming down into the carousel here. And, you know, if you're not careful and you enter this carousel incorrectly and you end up on the left side of the track at the apex of the carousel, then you can definitely be overtaken. Everybody, you know, in the wide array of road course racing, they think the carousel at Road America is one of the safest corners in the world. But no, you can definitely be overtaken if you enter that incorrectly. But he does it well there, and coming into Canada corner, he is going to be well there. And yeah, Justin Michael is driving right now.
And definitely Christian Bishop right behind him, up 4 spots right now inside the top 10. Ooh, gets a little loose there.
That's good. That's the slide you want, Mike. That is the neutral slide that everybody talks about. That is when you are on the true limit of your car. You have understeer in your front tires, but you have oversteer in the rear tires, and you are just essentially gliding across the track. And that is how you break the barrier and enter that next level of pace. And if Christian Bishop can mimic that in every single corner, then he will be the fastest car on track.
Yeah, speaking of fastest car on track, that belongs to Justin Michael. He just ran a 2:13.28. Leader up front, Butch Davis, only ran a 2:14.27. So
yeah,
he's definitely on the hunt, looking to move up. He just passed Lyle Swearingen for 8th position now.
Michael Milfeld on the hunt, though, of Butch Davis. Coming down into the left-hander here before the carousel. I can't think of what that corner is called. I apologize. But he's not going to get the run on Butch Davis, I don't believe. Now, as Butch Davis approaches the carousel, looking good through it so far. Hits the apex well. Yes, that is how you take the carousel. Good job by Butch Davis. We'll see if Michael Milfeld can get a run here through the bottoms coming up on Canada. And he is not able to. Butch Davis really putting on a show here.
Butch Davis is running just a little bit faster lap times. Michael Milfeld's not quite able to keep up, but still hanging on there, not really losing time. Almost like he's matching him corner for corner here. Head up the hill to the start-finish line. Both of the drivers that time went 2:12.
Michael Milfeld Jr. down to the inside. Coming into turn 1, it's going to be a tight squeeze. Butch Davis leaves the space. Michael Milfeld, unfortunately, that corner is just a little too high speed. The inside line just doesn't really grant you any advantage there. Butch Davis probably knowing that electing to, let him get on the inside. And, well done by Butch Davis defending that corner.
Yeah, definitely. He didn't seem too worried. He let him have almost as much ground as he wanted. Melfeld Jr. had to slow up just a little bit. Now he dives down to the inside. If he's going to be able to make this pat.
Oh, and gets it done. Or no. And gets the overtake done, but elects to let Butch Davis have the position. I'm not sure if there was, some slight contact that maybe we didn't see there, but yeah, Michael Melfeld had the corner. He had the exit. He was entitled to that position, and
it looked like the tires just might have spun a little bit more than Melfeld was wanting. Like he took his foot off the throttle just to get back into, or get that car back under control, but he knows he has speed. He knows he can make the pass. So that's got to be something that you're kind of look forward to when you're just kind of cruising out here behind Butch Davis. You did it once, you can do it again.
Yeah, exactly. And Andrew Schulte with an incredible pace going through the kink there into the bottoms. I'm sure he is going to be in attacking distance within the next lap or two. Chad Simpson behind Andrew Schulte. He is putting up decent times as well.
These guys are just rolling through. Justin Michael up 14 spots now. Just put Ryan Steele in his rear view mirror. Evan Kinney next in line. I don't know if you recognize Evan Kinney, but usually doesn't race here on Tuesday nights. You usually find him on Monday and Thursday. Monday he races in the cleanracing.net league, and then Thursday the Brownie Racing. But good to see him out on track here.
Yeah, Evan Kinney, a name I'm not familiar with, but he is sure earning the respect in my book. Running top 6 in a WSRL race is no short task, no easy task at that. And unfortunately, into turn 3 there, he looked pretty slow. He's going to have Justin Michael to his rear. He elects to defend the inside, which is not necessarily where I would choose to put my car for this coming up left-hander. And Justin Michael is going to get a clean overtake. I'm still not sure if that is actually considered track limits or not. But if it is, Justin Michael using all the track to his advantage there for that overtake.
Yeah, he definitely is. Another driver I don't want to jump back to here is Brian Barnes. He was trying to get a lap in, but just was unable to. He's up 8 spots now, currently sitting P12. These guys are moving around that didn't get the qualifying lap that they wanted. Jeff Schmeier in recovery mode after getting spun early. We are working lap 5 here.
Yeah, very unfortunate, but good thing for Jeff Schmeier is there is a ton of race left. There is just ample amounts of opportunities to get back within the top 10 or maybe even top 5 here. So, all he has to do is keep a cool head, put his head down, and, start pushing.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like we had a couple guys push the track limits a little bit there. Matt Schlosser, Jeff Schmeier, Julian Ricci all on the edge of the track limits. But Andrew Schulte was able to make that pass on Michael Melfeld Jr., and Melfeld Jr. is falling back. He is now almost a second and a half back of Andrew Schulte.
Yeah, unfortunately for Melfeld Jr., I think he made a big mistake, maybe coming up to Canada Corner or something, because he ran a 2 second slower lap than what he is normally running here, or what everybody else ran, I should say. So, yeah, I think a big mistake there. That's going to cost him 1 position, and he's got Chad Simpson right behind him, who, if he is not careful, will take the opportunity to overtake as well.
Yeah, I don't necessarily envy the position that Melfeld is in right now. Is he's got Chad Simpson, then you have JTW not too far behind there, and the guy who's hungry right now, and Justin Michael, is currently sitting P6. So from Melfelt to Justin Michael, it's 4 seconds, but doesn't seem like it takes much time for these drivers to catch up when they have that drive and can just get that rhythm down to make their way around the track.
Yeah, I mean, a 1 second lead here can be absolutely vaporized if you have one incorrect corner or, you know, one minor mistake. So, you know, for these drivers, you know, Justin Michael is, you know, 4 seconds behind the leader here, but at the same time, that's only 2 or 3 mistakes out of Butch Davis. So definitely consistency is key with these road course races.
Yeah, it definitely is. You want to stay in your rhythm. You want to, you know, you want to minimize mistakes, and that is what all these drivers are trying to do. Justin Michael hit pit lane. See what the rest of these drivers are gonna do.
Yeah, maybe a really fat undercut strategy out of Justin Michael here. He knows he has the pace, and, you know, maybe he wants to get into pit lane, get those new tires on as quick as possible, get filled up with gas, and then go the rest of the way. But if that is the case, yeah, he only actually stopped for 7.5 seconds. So no, he just got fuel. I don't know. I'm not sure here, but I mean, it's Justin Michael. He obviously always has a plan, so we'll have to see it come to fruition here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Greg checking in on the chat, asking where McCartney is. I'm assuming Kyle is sitting somewhere, maybe having a adult beverage or something. He is not here racing right now, so like he didn't make it to the track tonight, Greg.
Yeah, and I'm glad Greg brought that up, actually, because something I wanted to touch on. P4 in the championship standings right now, Chris Simard, he is not in this race tonight. And with that being the case, that is 2 of his 4 drop weeks used. So we have 11 races after this. And so he has only got 2 drop weeks in those 11 races. So he is going to have a pretty stellar attendance for the second half of the season.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna have to try and do something, but he actually had surgery a couple weeks ago, I believe. He had what did he have? I'm gonna find it here on their Discord, but he had to have surgery. I can't remember if it was a hip or a knee or something, but he's gonna miss a few races. We'll see how that all works once he gets back into the car. And as we talk about guys missing, I know there's a guy missing here at SRM Racing Media that we kind of had to take a little bit of time away, as one of our favorite announcers and one of the guys who originally started calling Western States Racing League, Tony Trapasso, passed away last week, and he is definitely in our thoughts and prayers, his family and stuff. But we are moving forward, and every broadcast is probably going to have something to do with Tony from here on out.
I mean, yeah, every single race I ever call for the rest of my life, Tony will have something to do with it, because, you know, I'm still fairly new into all of this, and I only got started, 4, maybe 5 months ago at this point. And the first race I ever called was with Tony, and I got into the booth with him an hour early. And I was just running through things, how things work, just everything, what I needed to do, what I didn't need to do, the way to talk, the way not to talk, and, what to talk about, what not to talk about. And, all of that is just because of Tony, the absolute best mentor that I've had in all of my years. I used to compete playing video games way back in the day. I played sports growing up, all of that stuff. I've had mentors, coaches, but, for what short amount of time that Tony was mentoring me for that entire first week, it absolutely spoke volumes to me. And that is something that, if calling these races, if casting is something that I do for the foreseeable future, there's no way I could have done any of it without Tony. And so, yeah, just thoughts and prayers out to him. Rest in power, man.
We're watching Evan Kinney get a little loose there, like a couple other guys had a couple incidents too, real quick. Justin Burns.
Unfortunately, just locking the lefts there at the end of the Moran straight. That is a tricky corner. That is definitely the trickiest corner on this circuit. So, for people to mess it up a couple of times, hey, I've been there. Everybody who's ever ran this racetrack has been there.
Definitely looks like we have Dan Brazington coming into pit lane. Christian Bishop up to 8th right now.
Yeah, nice little 4-car battle here. Matt Schlosser looking to get side by side with Ryan Steele here. Coming into the left-hander before the carousel, and Matt Schlosser is going to make it stick, I believe, coming up to the carousel. Yes, he is. That is a stuck move for Matt Schlosser. Well done to him. And now Ryan Steele, he cannot dread on it too much because he has got Christian Bishop and Lyle Swearingen, who are two seasoned veterans at these road courses, behind him. So Ryan Steele is currently in a blender and, hopefully avoiding to get blended out of this conversation.
Yeah, definitely we're seeing a couple guys coming down pit lane. Looks like Evan Kinney came down 1490, so looks like he got some tire. Well, looks like I'll say it looked like he was in pit lane, but says he spent almost 15 seconds in his pits. 16:58 for Dan Brazington, so they got tires and fuel.
Yeah, tires and fuel for them, but Justin Michael only getting fuel, it seems like, when he pitted on lap 6 a little while ago. Jeff Schmeier is in as well in P13. We'll have to see what he elects to take as we're coming down into turn 4 here. Butch Davis and Andrew Schulte, textbook about it. No big movers. They head up the hill under the Corvette bridge, taking that left-hander. And this right-hander that they are taking right now is a really important corner because it can set you up for what I like to call kind of the dark horse overtaking opportunity at this left-hander before the carousel. And, for cars that are wanting to make the overtake, you can really, just make somebody unhappy by just being right on their rear bumper and, maybe throwing off their mental game a little bit, because when they take that left-hander, if you take just an ounce too much of that curb on the inside, that dip, then your car is extremely rattled for the carousel, and it makes you just everything about it just so much slower. But did not happen there. But we are coming up at the Canada corner. Andrew Schulte gets a little loose there on the second end of that bottom straight. It's going to lose him a little bit of time.
Definitely trying to make up some ground there. It looks like Michael Melfelt Jr. trying to find a different way around the track, but he's still. They are running 2:15, 2:14 between both of them, and Justin Michael still running a 2:15. So I don't know if that strategy that he is trying to employ is going to work too much here. See what happens once some of these guys with fresher tires make their way through their out lap and get back up to speed. Yeah, thanks, Craig, for that. Ryan Steele in pit lane. The only thing I can think is if the drivers have to make a couple pit stops.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is really the only case in which this is a successful strategy. Or maybe he got damaged somewhere and elected to come in for a fast repair. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, that could be it too.
But he did just run a 2:12.55. That is currently the fastest lap on track. So, not too shabby from him.
I was gonna say he has to have some speed somewhere. The way he takes that corner, he's got to be pushing those limits.
He's got to be pushing those limits, and I'm not sure if maybe it's a flaw in the system. I don't know if maybe it should be counting, but Mr. Beltrami, which speaking of, he is not here actually. Oh wait, yeah, he is here. Sorry, I'll take that back. He's in P14. Maybe the race control up at WSRL isn't enforcing it, but in every single car that I've seen, that would be absolutely breaking the track limits. So we will have to see what actually comes of that. I wish there was a way I could see incident points. If I could see the incident points of the drivers, then that would be a telltale sign of seeing if he is actually breaking the track limits with that, because he would be given a 1x off track for every single time he does it. But what do I know?
Yeah, doesn't look like I have that on here right now, but Andrew Schulte is all over the back bumper of Butch Davis. Looks like that was around.
There's
Ryan Steele.
Big. Unfortunate for Ryan Steele, just could not get it right coming down into turn 4. And, like I said, it's the trickiest corner on this circuit, so these drivers, just got a little squirmy from touching the grass, and it upset his whole entry into that corner. That is very, very unfortunate for the 12 Chevrolet of Ryan Steele.
It definitely is. Bob Beltrami in pit lane. But the top 9 drivers have yet to hit pit lane. The first driver to do it was Justin Michael. And he did it back on lap 6. Michael Melfelt Jr. was in and out on lap 11. So basically tried to split the race pretty much in half.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing, I don't think. I think that is definitely, the right call to make, as Andrew Schulte is deciding to do the exact same thing, cut his race down the middle. Butch Davis is going to elect to take another lap. He is starting lap 13. Oh, downshifted a little bit too late there into third gear. upset his car just a little bit on entry.
And with that, he's got a 6-second lead over Chad Simpson back in second place.
Yeah, but for the most part, he is attacking these corners, you know, with precision every time, and he's really making a good case for this race.
He's looking to try and get back to his winning ways here. Last win from Butch Davis was back at the Chicagoland in the spring. So,
Interesting.
but yeah, definitely interesting to see how that works. He did win back-to-back. He won at Daytona and Chicago in the spring there. All these drivers are probably going to come to pit road this time if they haven't hit pit lane. So we got Chad Simpson, JTW right on his rear bumper, Matt Schlosser, Christian Bishop, Lyle Swearingen, Brian Barnes. All are going to have to come to pit lane at some point in time. They're over halfway to the race, so I'd imagine you'd see him come down any moment. Andrew Schulte is now the first car that has pitted. Came out in P8 after making his pit stop. Looked like he only got fuel only because he was only in his pit box for 8 seconds. Christian Bishop in. And as I say that, Rich Davis didn't stop.
Well, you know, he does have pace. I mean, I can't argue with that. He has got nothing but wide open track in front of him. He's not coming up on any lap traffic that I am aware of. So, you know, with these guys stopping for just fuel and fuel only, as Justin Michael just posted the fastest time of the race with a 2:12.31. But, you know, he can stretch it a couple more laps. Andrew Schulte is in the wall.
Let's see what happened there. If it's going to go back far enough. It's not. Didn't register. He crashed till he stopped. See. Yeah, you see him get a little bit loose. Seems okay. Then he hits those rumble strips and around he goes.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate from Andrew Schulte. That is more than likely going to be his race over with. He is.
Has he crashed again?
He crashed again, yeah. The car is really upset with him right now as he is not able to keep it straight at all. There is big damage to that 81 Toyota.
There is definitely, and looks like Justin Michael might be the car to beat if he has enough fuel to make it to the end. And judging by the way Butch Davis has been running, maybe you only need seven laps of fuel. Matt Schlosser in pit lane.
Yeah, you know, I'm not entirely sure on the strategies here. I'm not entirely sure on what is going to be the correct, you know, pit window here, but Butch Davis is starting his 15th lap and he has not stopped. So he is extremely confident in his ability to drive this car. And I mean, if I was in his position, I probably would be thinking the same thing. He is ahead by a long shot, and you know, the pit cycle at Road America is pretty short. definitely not as long as, say, at Fuji or Monza or even, Hockenheim. A relatively short, pit stint here. So when he does pit in, it's not going to take him very long.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, Justin Michael was only in pit lane for 48 seconds, so he only has a 36-second lead over Justin Michael right now. So we'll see what happens once these guys start cycling through. Andrew Schulte was able to make it to pit lane. Looks like he probably took a fast repair here.
Yeah, very unfortunate on the side of Andrew Schulte, your championship leader right now. But, if this is the only bad race he has all year, I think he'll take it.
I mean, most oval racers or guys in the NASCAR league, they have drop weeks. They pretty much circle the road courses and know that, yeah, I could drop that race.
Yeah, I mean, good on them. I mean, if it's in the system, then you might as well use it to your advantage. Now, what I will say is, I think the drivers should still come out and try to give it their best effort.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But at the end of the day, yeah, if you have drop weeks and you hate road courses, yeah, circle them, But, if you can snag a top 5, a lucky top 5, or maybe even a lucky podium at a road course, then that just makes your oval racing for the rest of the year just that much easier, because now you know that you have a race that you can drop out of the oval instead of just pinpointing the road courses and having to be perfect on every single oval you race.
Definitely. Come out, try your best. You might get lucky and some guys have a bad day. I mean, seen it happen multiple times, so you can get a surprise top 5 or top 10 and walk away and not have to race quite so hard on some of the ovals if you have a bad day or just get bumped the wrong direction. But Butch Davis is still out on track, and this is going to be completing lap 16 when he comes to the start finish line. So
and now he is coming up on lap traffic for the first time. Not entirely sure who that is, actually. I believe that might actually be the 29 of Dan Brazington.
See.
Yes, it is. We see Butch Davis approaching like a monster out of a scary movie in the rear. He is always watching. He is always lurking. The Monster 43 of Butch Davis here. But yeah, Dan Brazington, someone who seems to always show up on the oval side of things. He was a constant winner in previous seasons of the WSRL, but unfortunately here tonight he is not able to make things click.
Butch Davis has got that gap to second place out to 10 seconds now as Chad Simpson came down pit lane on lap 15. Brian Barnes in pit lane now.
That will move Justin Michael into P4. And that will make the lead from Butch Davis to Justin Michael 33.88 seconds as Michael Milfield runs the fastest lap of the race. He goes purple with a 2:12.16, which is basically a 10th and a half faster than Justin Michael's top time. So we'll have to see. Maybe this battle will buy Butch Davis enough time to get in pit lane and out.
Yeah, it's interesting looking at the time that Melfelt Jr. spent on pit lane. He spent almost 12 seconds. So he You got tires and fuel. And he is 5 lap fresher tires. We'll see if he's going to be able to, well, no more than that, because Justin Michael, obviously, I guess he might have got right sides or something, but he only spent 7.5 seconds in his box. So maybe Melfeld Jr. has 11 lap fresher tires.
Yeah, you know, I'm not entirely too sure, and I'm also not sure of the tire degradation on these NASCAR next gen cars. I would assume a road course would eat the tires up more than an oval, because that's just, you know, proper logic. But who knows? Maybe not. You're not digging into the surface as much as you are on a banked oval track. You're not going as fast. So actually, I'm going to rescind my statement and say that I think the tires will last longer.
Well, Butch Davis is still out here running.
He is that.
His gap has gotten a little bit smaller. But we'll see. Michael Melfeld Jr. is drafting Justin Michael like crazy. Almost, the two cars are almost one coming down the front stretch there.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting turn one here as Michael Melfeld lifts off just a little bit, giving Justin Michael full security of the corner. They're coming down here into turn 3. It's turn 2, but they call it turn 3. But coming down into turn 3 here onto the Moran straight.
Yeah, with all that drafting that Melfeld Jr. did, he almost broke the 212 mark. He went 212.02.
Yeah, 211 would be a very fast lap. And as you see, Justin Michael didn't take the outside curbing like he has in previous laps. I'm not sure if maybe he got a talking to from the race control about that, or if he was just simply doing it to protect his position from Michael Melfeld Jr. We will never know, but interesting stuff.
Jump up front here, see if Butch Davis is going to come down pit lane anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if he will or not. He's got Ashley Valdetero in the front here, and he is not going to come in. I thought he was for a second. His car started to turn just a little bit to the right, but I think it was a wheel spin or something, because he is working on lap 19 currently.
JTW in pit lane. And that was oh so lucky for Butch Davis that Ashley was able to lock it down and stay out of his way as he lost control there.
And now we have Lyle Swearingen, who is actually in, so that officially makes Butch Davis the only car on track to not hit pit lane yet. And every lap that goes by, I'm just curious as to why Butch Davis hasn't stopped, because now we're just getting to the point where you're running 2 seconds a lap slower time than Justin Michael and Michael Melfeld Jr. The gap has went from 34 seconds to 29 seconds within the past 5 laps. So the window is stopping.
Yeah, you're gonna spend too much time on pit lane. You're gonna wind up right now looking at where Butch Davis is. If he pits and comes out and is basically up to speed, he's gonna come out in 4th position and have to battle back. The only thing I can think of is somehow he's running slower to save fuel, and he knows he's got a few laps maybe that he has to save for. I don't know. It just seems, well, it also seems odd that Justin Michael's still running a 2:12.26 if he didn't get any tires when he was on pit lane.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's kind of a mystery. I'm not entirely sure what is actually happening right now, as now Butch Davis elects to come in, and we will see where that puts him. So the fuel saving stuff is out the window. That just did not happen. Gap to Justin Michael is 28, although I'm not entirely sure if that's correct because that is now going up.
And now it's going down pretty quick.
Oh yeah, she's going down. 9 seconds. Yeah. So yeah, that is that. Justin Michael and Michael Milfeld have passed Butch Davis. Butch Davis is back out on track though. He only took a 7.58 second pit stop. So a lot of climbing Butch Davis has, and I wonder if he's not kicking himself on whether he should have stopped earlier.
Yeah, I think he kind of, with him being the leader, I think it kind of, I don't know, forced his hand a little bit. I think he thought if he just stayed out a little bit longer, it wouldn't really matter. Or maybe he was just doing basically the opposite strategy that Justin Michael did, because Justin Michael looks like he knew exactly how many laps he needed of fuel and just went to there, made his pit stop, and was hoping everybody else would try and stretch it. And that seems to be the right call, as he is now out front.
Yeah, and you know, the massive undercut, you see it a lot in road course racing. The undercut does pay off a lot of the time. And Butch Davis, you know, vying for the alternate strategy, going for the massive overcut. You really only see that work on tracks with extremely long straights, like Monza, or, you know, Circuit of the Americas is a track where you can overcut well. And, you know, unfortunately for him, the overcut just wasn't the best play.
Yeah, definitely. I think if he would have been able to take the pit stop a lap or so, as Justin Michael Melfelt looked like they scared Julian Ricci there and forced him to make a mistake. But if you would have been able to pit either with Michael Melfelt or even the lap after, I think he'd be better off and have more time to close the gap than leaving himself just 6 laps to make up 7.5 seconds.
Yeah, and you know, with the pace that Justin Michael and Michael Milfelt are running at right now, Butch Davis would have to be running consistent 2.11s, maybe even high 2.10s. And I just don't see that pace being extracted out of the 43 Chevrolet. So I think for the most part, I think Butch Davis's race is kind of done. And, you know, that's unfortunate because he led a lot of laps, and I think it just came down to the overcut, and he just decided to stay on track a little too long.
Definitely. Here we go with Melfelt and Justin Michael. Michael Melfelt's basically maintained about the same gap to Justin Michael almost for the last 10 laps or so. With 5 laps to go, we'll see if he's able to close in, or if Justin Michael makes a mistake and Melfelt Jr. will be able to capitalize on that.
Yeah, and remember what I said earlier towards the top of the broadcast. A minor mistake can cost you up to 1 second of your lap time. that is the exact gap between Justin Michael and Michael Milfeld Jr. right now. So like you said, if Justin Michael makes a mistake, we will be bumper to bumper, no doubt.
Yeah, even a little tiny mistake will allow Milfeld Jr. to get back within striking distance. We saw how close he was when he was drafting down this front straightaway as they came up the hill. I think he closes in just a little bit, but we'll see what he can pull out of his sleeve here once they get down here.
Yep, coming down the hill into turn 3. This is going to be to set up the Moraine straight, so we will see if Justin Michael gets a good and quick exit. It looks like he does, but Michael Milfeld catching a little bit of neutral slide. That might have actually been a little faster of an exit, but it looks like the gap is staying the exact same. Justin Michael maybe a 1,000th faster going down that straight, but coming down into turn 4, it's going to be kind of slow for Michael Milfeld, but the lap car making them compromise their lines. And Justin Michael is growing the lead.
Looks like he was able to get by the lap car a little bit better than Michael Milfeld was there, but we'll see if there's anything that Milfeld Jr. can do. Looks like he's just gonna try and hang on. It almost looks like Butch Davis gave up pursuit and is just gonna ride out these final 4 laps, as now he is almost 10 seconds back of Justin Michael.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, tragic day for Butch Davis here. He did everything right on track except his pit strategy, and unfortunately that singular thing is going to cost him the victory here at Road America. But you know, for Justin Michael and Michael Milfeld Jr., this is still very much a race. You know, the gap is 2 seconds currently. You know, Michael Milfeld did make a minor mistake there going in turn 4 this previous lap, but Justin Michael can do the same. All is easy. So, you know, Michael Milfeld, the lead might be climbing, but if Justin Michael makes one mistake, then he is back within draft distance, more than likely.
Yeah, that's the other thing. If you're Milfeld Jr., you don't want to push yourself to make the mistake. You want to stay within your means and hope that Justin Michael makes a mistake. You don't want to overdrive your car, because you see him up there, you know he's kind of getting away. The gap's growing half a second or so, but you still cannot overdrive your car. I mean, we've got a pretty big gap back to Butch Davis. If you can just, you know, maintain your pace and hit your marks, you know, leave the rest up to whether or not Justin Michael makes a mistake.
And Justin Michael coming up on lap traffic right now. Do believe that is the 29 of Dan Brazington. Again, as there's going to be a little cheeky overtake on the back marker going down into the left-hander before the carousel. And yeah, Justin Michael is just growing this lead. I believe this is more than likely his race now. You know, obviously a mistake can change things up, but with the pace they're currently running at, ooh, as Justin Michael skirts a little close to that grass, setting up the kettle bottom straight here. Not straight, but kettle bottoms as we head into Canada, and he is looking proper through there.
Looks pretty well. Looks like Michael Milfeld Jr. was able to get by Dan Brazington without too much of an incident.
Yeah, so all these cars, you know, really spread out. The only battle we really have going on is Jeff Schmeier in P10. He is battling Chad Simpson, who is in P9 right in front of him. The Justin Michael runs the fastest lap of the race, going purple with a 2:11.85. So absolute blistering pace from him.
Yeah, he is not slowing down.
Yeah, not at all.
He just ran 2 seconds faster than Michael Melfelt did that last time.
Yeah, Justin Michael making it look easy, putting the whole league on notice, as he has had a tremendous year so far in the WSRL. He is currently P6 in the point standings, and he hasn't even raced all 8 races. He has only done 7 races this year. He has 2 wins, looking for the hat trick here. If he can keep his car calm and collected, this will be his 3rd win on the season.
That's just crazy. To come in here and be basically that dominant. I mean, race 8 times and for all intents and purposes have 3 wins. And he seems to just be catching the lap traffic at the perfect time.
Yeah, you know, that's another thing about it, is you got to have a little bit of luck when it comes to your back markers and how you pass them and how quickly and how efficiently you pass them. But, you know, even if you throw that out, you know, he is still just absolutely cooking this entire grid right now. You know, coming up on his final lap, he has built the lead within the last 3 laps. He has increased it over 4 seconds to Michael Melfelt Jr. And, you know, he is absolutely dominant. This is almost Max Verstappen-esque right now, with, you know, just how stretched he is making this grid. Pause. And he gets a little loose coming out of turn 1.
I'm saying, and the commentator's curse is going to come out. No.
Yeah.
Michael Melfelt Jr. is almost 6 seconds back now, so maybe it's time to take your foot off the throat of the competition here.
Yeah, and you know, just bring it home in one piece, Justin. We don't want anything crazy happening here. But yeah, you know, what an absolute race it has been from him. Same with Butch Davis, you know, same with Michael Melfelt. These guys have been on it all night.
And nobody really battling too close on track. Kind of the way these road courses go. Have a couple guys that can battle quite a bit, and then other times you kind of get strung out a little bit. But we basically had 24 drivers take part, and it looks like only 3 are not still running on track. So, I mean, multiple laps down, but like, oh, looks like only 2 of 3. Chad Stearns didn't qualify and then stopped, but so Chad Stearns, Bentley Glazer, Charlie Widener all called it a day early after running minimal amount of laps. But Justin Michael had his qualifying laps thrown out, had to start based on his iRating, finishes up 20 spots, and Justin Michael will become a 3-time winner of the Western States Racing League here at Road America.
Yeah, he gets it done. Michael Melfelt Jr. going to be coming home in P2, and then just a little ways down the road coming up the hill, there he is, Butch Davis in the number 43, almost at 34. Wow, in the number 43. He is going to come home on the last spot in the podium. JTW, who we did not see last week, if I'm not mistaken, or sorry, 2 weeks ago, since last week was an off week. He is going to bring it home in P4, And the part-timer Matt Schlosser, who we don't see around here all the time, but he is starting to become a regular within the season. He is going to bring it home in P5. What a race.
Christian Bishop, Lyle Swearingen. Closest battle for position. 0.02. Christian Bishop gets 7th over Lyle Swearingen.
Yeah, that is, two road course guys. Seems like they were at each other's throat all race. They were locked up. They were locked in. They were in sync.
Justin Michael completing his laps here.
Oh, dear God.
Good thing that didn't happen during the race.
Yeah, sends it just a little too hard into the kettle bottoms, but, even so, he still kept it on pace. What a save.
Definitely. I got Butch Davis out here rolling around. Justin Michael. It's back here. Let these guys. So there he goes. I was gonna say, wonder when he was gonna burn it down. Well, while he does that, Mac, I'm going to let you talk to our third place finisher, Butch Davis.
Butch, man, Mac up in the booth. How are you feeling?
Whew, worn out, man. Worn out.
Yeah, these road courses are tough, but you made it look good. However, the one part where I think might have cost you was the massive overcut in your pitch strategy. Can you walk me through that? Did you realize the later laps that you went on that it wasn't maybe going to work how you thought, or was it something that you had chalked up and you were committed to it?
Kind of committed to it. I knew I did not have the pace to match Justin Michael or Mike Milfelt. So in all reality, regardless of how the beginning of that race started out, and me grabbing the lead and having that nice battle with Mike, I knew regardless those guys were going to be able to jump me. And at the end of the day, I kind of had my eye just pegged for third place, and I decided to make the late stop. I didn't even change tires. And just kind of, I guess, played the safe route. Kind of crappy, but, it is what it is. I typically tend to struggle a little bit with the road courses because of my shoulder, with the injuries and stuff. So I just, being able to come out of here with a P3 is pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely. And, you made it look good, but, P3 here at Road America, who do you have to thank for this performance tonight?
I want to thank all my teammates at FBR Motorsports, and FBR Sim Accessories Creation Studio. Thank you guys up in the booth. Thank Bob Beltrami for putting this on. All the drivers that keep coming out and making this such a fun league to race in. It's finally nice to get a good run here on a Tuesday night. So yeah, just kind of shout out to everybody for that. And I got to say this, or my teammates will never let me hear the end of it. Hashtag bug mustard. Yeah.
Okay, well, bug mustard is not something I had on my bingo card to hear in the booth tonight, but, your P3 finisher, Butch Davis, enjoy your night, man.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, let's see if we can get P2 up here. Hey, Mike up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Good. How you guys doing?
Not too bad. Well, you came out. You were the fastest car in practice. You got the pole position. Not bad to still wind up in P2.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I blew the first couple corners, and Butch got ahead of me. And then I really blew a corner, and Andrew got ahead of me. And then I almost killed him. Yeah. And then Justin got so fast, I was just trying to keep up with him.
Yeah, I don't know. We were kind of sitting here trying to figure out what Justin was doing because he pitted lap 6 and didn't look like he changed tires or anything, and he was still pretty quick. And I'm going to assume that you had at least changed right sides or something since you spent a little extra time in your pit box. But you were all over the back of him for quite a while.
Yeah.
How was it out there racing that close with some of these drivers?
It was fun just to see Justin in a race. Because normally he's so far ahead, you can't even see him. But no, I took too much fuel. I was being a little cautious and was too cautious. I had an extra 6 laps of fuel at the end. So that cost me some time in the pits.
Definitely. I thought maybe you had a little bit fresher tires and were going to be able to make that run when you came out and were all over his back bumper. But, heck of a run. You put in a lot of work. You got to your P2 finish. Who do you have to thank for that before I let you
go? Thank WSRL League. Man, this is a great league. I love racing every race in this league. It's so competitive. Thank you guys for the broadcasts. And thank all the competitors for being so competitive.
Definitely, man. Thanks again, and we will talk to you later.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Mac, I will give you the race winner here.
Justin Michael Mac up in the booth, man. How are you feeling?
Oh, man, I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, and, doing even better after watching your masterclass of a pit strategy here at Road America. Was the severe undercut always something you had planned out, or was it just something you kind of went on, at last second?
No, going into the race, I knew that I could go 20 laps, and I knew we had 25 laps for the race. So I went one extra. I pitted with 19 to go. That was going to be the strategy from the start, no matter where I qualified, because I had a terrible qualifying. I screwed up both laps, so we had to start in the back. But I think that got me away from some of the top 5 guys who were fast, because they were going to be harder to pass. So it just got me away from them, and then I could run clean laps without any traffic and just undercut them.
Yeah, it worked flawlessly. Obviously it netted you the win, but that is not the only reason why you won. I was really appreciative of your line heading into turn 4 at the end of the Moraine straight. That left-hander, you go down the hill, you take that left-hander. You were using absolutely every single millimeter of track given to you. You had your inside tires basically on the curb. You were almost off the racing surface completely, and it's stuff like that. Do you think that's a big credit to how you got your win tonight?
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of hairpin turns here, and you gotta just hit them, just right. So that turn, the next turn going under that Corvette bridge, I don't know what turn that's called, but that I hate that turn. It's off camber uphill and braking, and it's just easy to lock up. And then going down the backstretch, going into that right-hander, that's a really difficult turn too. So I missed it quite a few times. But once we started losing fuel, getting down there towards the end, the car just turned into a rocket ship. Those last 5 laps, I told the guys, I said it handles like an Indy car, low fuel. I think it's really agile, and you can just put it anywhere.
Yeah, and put it anywhere. You did just that, and it netted you the win. So you got the win. You're up here in the booth. Who do you have to thank for the performance?
Oh man, all the guys at Bandit Motorsports, Andrew, and we got some other guys. They don't run, but they're always out there cheering us on and telling, giving tips, tricks, and everything, trying to get faster. And you guys call a great race. We love that. Bob puts on a great league. I came to this league, I don't know, maybe a year ago, maybe even less than that. I don't remember, but we really like running here. Everybody's pretty cool, laid back, and a lot of fast guys, and that's what I like. I like competition because you don't get better if you don't have competition. And
Yeah.
Michael ran a great race. I'm going to give props to him. I know Andrew wrecked himself, and tell him I said that. But he definitely probably would have got a top 4, top 5. But Michael had a great race, so props to him. He practiced a bunch today, and I'm sure following us, he learned a lot too, and I learned a lot from him watching his line too. So, great race. He's going to get a win soon.
Yeah, that I do agree with you on, but I am going to let you enjoy your night. Justin Michael, the driver of the 87, your winner here at Road America.
Thanks, guys.
Definitely. So, race had a little bit of everything, but let's go ahead and jump in here and get the race results. Justin Michael with the win. Michael Melfeld Jr. gets a podium. Butch Davis as well. Justin T. Wilkinson in 4th. Matt Schlosser 5th. Brian Barnes brings home P6. Christian Bishop barely noses out Lyle Swearingen for 7th and 8th. Chad Simpson in 9th. Jeff Schmeier rounds out that top 10. Evan Kinney, Wayne Hutchinson, Andrew Schulte, as Justin said, wrecked himself. And Bob Beltrami finishes 14th.
Yeah, and then, going through the back half of the grid here, we've got Ashley Valdetero in P15. And then going down from there, Dan Brazington, Ryan Steele, Dennis Fuson, Julian Ritchie, Barry Phil, Dustin Burns, Charlie Widener, Bentley Glazer, Chad Stearns, Carl Burke, Paul Hoffman, and William Fletcher.
So these guys are done with the road course for the moment. And they will... where will they head next? They will head to Michigan. And then... so Michigan in the next gen, and then they'll go to Watkins Glen after that in the Xfinity car. So get a week off from road racing, and then we'll be right back at it. But with that being said, we're going to wrap it up here. So from all of the drivers of the WSRL and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you good night, and we will see you next time.